Let me take you to the book of Acts. I will take the case of Saul and we take the case of Simon Peter to explain why we need to be led by the Spirit of God. Acts chapter 22. Listen to what Paul says, verse 1. Brethren and fathers, hear my defense before you now. Verse 2. When they heard that he spoke to them in the Hebrew language, they kept all the more silent. Then he said, verse 3, I am indeed a Jew, born in Tarsus of Cilicia, but brought up in this city at the feet of Gamaliel, taught according to the strictness of our father's law, and was zealous towards God as you all are today. Verse 4. I persecuted this way to death. This is not what Paul say. I persecuted this way. The gospel was called the way. Why? That was the way of God. That was the way of righteousness. That was a way that no man could follow without the Spirit of God. No one could understand that way. And Jesus said, I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. And he said, nobody comes to me except the Father draws him. That way is hidden. That way is concealed. That's the ways of the Spirit. Paul said, I persecuted this way to death, binding and delivering into prisons both men and women. Verse 5. As also the high priest bears me witness, and all the council of the elders, from whom I also received letters to the brethren, and I went to Damascus to bring in chains even those who were there to Jerusalem to be punished. That's what Paul said. That was his mindset, religious mindset, without the Spirit. Persecuting the way because he didn't understand. What people do not understand, they can persecute, reject, and call name. That's the situation. He was ignorant of the ways of the Spirit. He was in the law, in the natural, absolutely in the natural, but couldn't understand the ways of God. Something new was happening. Something new. That it takes the grace of God to understand that way. Now, the same Saul, something happened to him. Verse 6. Now it happened as I journeyed and came near Damascus. At about noon, suddenly a great light from heaven shone around me. And I fell to the ground and heard a voice saying to me, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Verse 8. So I answered, Who are you, Lord? Who are you, Lord? Who are you, Lord? What a question. A man extremely zealous, a man who was extremely knowledgeable in the doctrine of the Pharisees, a man who think he knew God more than anyone, a man who is a doctor, a teacher of the law, who fight for God, who persevere for God. Who are you, Lord? Mean he was persecuting the person he never knew. He was serving a God he never knew. It takes revelation to know the Lord, not sense knowledge. Who are you, Lord? And the Lord said to him, I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting. I am Jesus of Nazareth, whom you are persecuting. That is revelation. He was shocked. And the question, verse 9, those who were with me saw the light and were afraid, and they didn't hear the voice of him speaking to me. When the revelation came, the eyes of Paul was opened, and he began to see the light. Eyes that can see the hidden truth. He said the others saw the light, which was the only one that heard the voice. God gave him ears that can hear the inner voice of the Holy Spirit, the voice of Jesus, the voice of God. When he heard, he came into understanding. And what did he say? Lord, what do you want me to do? He surrendered immediately. His way to Damascus was to fight the way to stop the gospel.